comes responsibility. With responsibility comes accountability. Hi, this is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day number 3 of the Torah portion, Value Key. Let's go down now to chapter number 48 of the book of Bereshit, or Genesis, and begin reading with verse number 1. And after these events, it came to be that it was said to Joseph, "See, your father is sick." And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Yaakov was told, "See, your son Joseph is coming to you." And Israel strengthened himself and sat up on the bed. And Yaakov said to Joseph, "El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me, and said to me, See, I am making you fruitful, and shall increase you, and make you an assembly of peoples, and give this land to your seed after you as an everlasting possession." Let's pause there. We're not told who told Joseph that Yaakov was sick. Somehow he got the message, and he goes to see his father, taking his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, with him. It would be an appearance here that he went without consulting his brothers. Now, why would this be an issue? Just think back just a little bit to Yaakov sneaking into the tent of Yitzhak, or Isaac, and quote-unquote stealing a blessing, as it has been suggested. So Joseph is going now to his father with his sons for a private audience. If his brothers had known, would they have called this shenanigans? Would they have said something's sneaky going on here? What are you doing going to see Daddy without us being present? Are you expecting to take something that the rest of us are not going to get? Again, we're talking about in the way of blessings. When we read the narrative here, it does, at least at the beginning, begin to sound like something's improper going on, in that in verse 4, Yaakov makes mention that the land is given to your seed after you. What is he talking about? Again, once more, and I'll repeat this, especially for those that are not familiar with 10-minute Torah or have not been with us very long, those that are just getting started. There are 3 primary blessings that are referenced in Scripture. One is the general blessing of Brakah. It is one who was greater, laying his hands upon one that is, in his estimation, lesser, and bestowing favor and benevolence and guard and protection and some sort of benefit to the one that is bowing before him. The Father obviously has blessed us. When we say, well, I'm blessed, what does that mean? We have presented our lives before him. He has chosen to place his hands upon us, and he has been benevolent and caregiving and rescuing and helpful and delivering to us. We have the Father's blessing. In chapter number 49, I think it is, we're going to see how that Yaakov calls each of his sons and he gives them a prophetic blessing, a blessing for the future. Now, there is a second blessing. It is called the Bekorah, B-E-C-H-O-R-A, Bekorah. The Bekorah is the double portion blessing that is given from the Father to the firstborn. And of all of his substance at his death, the eldest son gets a double portion, and he takes on a role of family leadership. There is some teaching that is fascinating about this, also extends to family priesthood. The eldest son has a role of priesthood, of the Melchizedek order. Now, some teaching goes to the place of Melchizedek order replacing, doing away with the Levitical order. That's not true. That's not exactly right. So I'm not going into the priesthood, lineage, and order debate. The third blessing is what we're talking about here. It's called the Bechira, Bechira. The Bechira is a blessing that a father cannot give to his son. The Father in heaven is the one who bestows this particular blessing, and it contains two powerful elements. One is that the recipient of the Bechira from Yah receives the promise of the land, specifically the land that is found in chapter 15, that is from the river of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, the Nile, all the way to the Euphrates. All of this landmass is promised to Abraham and his descendants. The second part is that they are the lineage of the seed from Bereshit or Genesis 3:15, which talks about the one that is promised to come that will destroy the serpent and deliver man from his fallen estate, restoring him back to where it is that Yah would desire for him to be. So we're talking about the promised Messiah. He has to come through a particular bloodline, and the one who inherits the land also carries the bloodline. That is the Bechira. Yah chooses that. He chose Abraham. He specifically gave that to Yitzhak or to Isaac, and then he specifically gave it to Yaakov, as he references here at a place called Luz, which is then the same place that Yaakov called Bethel. The Bechira being bestowed in the past has rooted out all of the other siblings so that they are blessed and sent away. The whole issue of this sibling rivalry between Joseph and his brothers, it seemed to suggest when Joseph is first introduced to us at 17, that he's obviously going to get this Bechira, and the rest of them are going to be blessed and sent away. And they're saying, no, we've got to become a family, and a family then a nation. And they were right. They just didn't understand the process by which Yah was going to perform this. So all of the sons are now chosen. All of the sons are now included. The Bechira is not given to an individual, it's being given now to a family. That's why Yah took them through the Exodus, take them to the land. And in their midst was the lineage that would produce the Messiah in the tribe of Yehuda, or the Jews. Now, all of that's understood. Joseph comes in. Daddy's talking Bechira language, but then he shifts and he says this. He says, and now your two sons, this is verse 5, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Mitzrayim before I came to you in Mitzrayim, are mine, as Reuben and Shimon are mine. Your offspring, whom you shall bring forth after them, are yours, and let them be called by the name of their brothers and their inheritance. And so he chose the two sons of Joseph to now have first generation status along with Joseph and his brothers. Joseph has just received the Bechorah, the double portion blessing. Out of his house, there are two portions, two tribal portions that are now going to be offered. That now understood, we see that these two sons are elevated from grandson status to first generation son status. With the privilege comes responsibility. Ephraim and Manasseh have to perform as tribal elements, as tribal people. And with that comes accountability. What's getting ready to happen, as we will discuss tomorrow, sets the scene and the tone for much of what is contained in the prophets. It is very relevant to the historical narrative that we find in the books of Samuel and Kings, in the book of Yehoshua and Judges. All of these things play a role all the way through the teaching of the Messiah and into the ministry all of his followers up into the book of Revelation. It's all about what we're getting ready to read. Hold on, wait until tomorrow. Till then, shalom.